War is declared on the flu. St. Petersburg scientists have developed a new vaccine. It contains strains relevant for every season of flu epidemic. The vaccine is special because all monovalent vaccines, that is, all antigens present in the vaccine, are highly purified, and therefore the content of impurity, non-influenzal proteins is rather small. It is less than in common influenza vaccines. In case of any allergic reactions, at least, if we inoculate with our vaccine, the development of some vaccinal reactions is much less possible than that after inoculating with a common vaccine. Since 2012, the team of scientists have been creating the world-class vaccine. The novelty is well tolerated by the immune system and does not cause complications. The strain has been registered with the number 17174. It is a standard of antigen for checking other influenza vaccines. It means that Russia produces a pure antigen. Our vaccine is sterile and conforms to the requirements of the World Health Organization. The scientists do their best to protect product quality. They say they eliminate any risk here. Therefore, a product has to go through a real quest in order to be put to production. This is a step-over bench. It divides a so-called non-class zone and a class zone. Class means that certain cleanliness requirements act on this territory. In order to enter the class zone, you should put on boot covers, and without putting your feet down, here we go. And we are in the class zone. Stages, borders, zones, and special clothes. Regulations on the flu vaccine production site remind of the rules of a complex game. Vaccine production is divided into two zones, clean and infectious. The infectious one is the zone where they work with a live influenza virus. We're going into the infectious zone. For this reason, we walk through a special sanitary inspection room. We have disinfected hands and have special white overalls put on us. People call them snowmen. I even had to clean off lipstick a little. They say particles of cosmetics can affect the quality of future vaccine somehow. Now I put on a mask, glasses, as if I'm going on a space trip. And above all, don't forget your hood. Is that all? Let's go. So, we have come to the very beginning. This is the aerosol chamber for disinfection of chicken embryos. Chicken embryos serve as raw materials for production of our vaccine. So they come to us only after the aerosol chamber, only after disinfection. However, now it is empty. The chamber is getting ready for disinfection of all used trays. They are being disinfected after each production cycle, that is, once in 4 days. And here, chicken embryos are infected with influenza virus. At first, chicken embryos undergo irrigation disinfection. Then they enter directly the process of infection assisted by two plates. One plate infects chicken embryos. The second plate undergoes disinfection. And that is how, one process after another, infection is performed. We try to obtain absolute purity. That means they eliminate the contact of an embryo with secondary microflora. From here, infected eggs get into the hot chamber. Chicken embryos are incubated here. The manufacturer's goal is not to develop an embryo, but to multiply the virus inside it. At the same time, the embryo has to survive and produce its own antibodies. Depending on a virus strain, the process of infection lasts from 35 to 72 hours. The hot chamber is equipped with several screens to allow specialists to control the microclimate around the embryos without entering the chamber. These embryos are alive. We should provide all conditions for them to make them comfortable, because they're infected. They're going through an illness. When we get sick with an influenza virus, our temperature rises. The embryos are just like that. They fall ill. Therefore, we create the most favorable conditions for them, so that they can suffer it normally.
Поэтому мы создаем для них максимально благоприятные условия, чтобы они это все нормально перенесли.
After incubation, embryos are cooled and sent to the automatic machine called harvester. First, they throw out low-quality embryos. Then they collect virus-containing fluid from the good samples. The fluid goes further to the reactor. All collected virus-containing allantoic fluid comes to the reactor data. The virus is inactivated here. Inactivated means we kill it. Liquid is purified from impurity proteins and sent for concentration. This chamber is called centrifugal. Here, the product is reduced in volume. The future vaccine is concentrated, just like milk. And finally, the vaccine with the killed or inactive virus comes to the clean zone. The new flu vaccine has been recognized as the best Russian project of 2019 in the high-tech export nomination. A branch of the St. Petersburg Institute works in the Republic of Nicaragua. Since last April, they produce our anti-influenza vaccine there. During the awards ceremony, representatives of the Russian Institute promised they're not going to be satisfied with what they have already achieved. We negotiate with a number of countries on similar projects, on technology transfer. These are Turkey and Malaysia. Some countries in Latin America show a great interest, although I won't name them yet. All in all, we're going to multiply this experience and extend Russian technologies worldwide. It's important for Russia that the volume of the produced vaccine was enough to inoculate at least 50% of the country's population. The Ministry of Health aspires to this rate. It's necessary to eliminate flu transition. For this purpose, it's necessary to vaccinate as many people as possible. The flu epidemic rages every year. We should not forget about this. And it is important when it begins. That is, for example, in the previous years, it began late enough, in January, February. Sometimes it starts in November, December. Therefore, the earlier you vaccinate, the less likely you are to fall ill. Olga Bubnova, Oleg Fomin, Anton Kosolapov, Andrei Kostrov, Ovanesevetisan, TV Bricks.